We understand there were 4 people inside that home when someone came by and sprayed more than a dozen shots inside, killing an 11-year-old boy. He suffered a gunshot wound to the torso. He was taken to the hospital where we understand he died a couple of hours later. We just got new information from state troopers here on the scene, and they tell us this is what sticks out about this white vehicle that you see here behind me. It was about 2:10 this morning when those state troopers were here on Fulton and Bagley for a routine traffic stop. That's when they say one of the suspects inside the car opened fire. The doors have been locked for about a week now, but how did the district get here? It turns out they continued to receive state funds for months for a program that was no longer in operation. Good morning, Craig. We are live outside of the City Hall this morning in Saginaw because that's where the city leaders are going to release a statement of their own after prosecutor Mike Thomas found that there was no criminal wrongdoing, no criminal intent by the 6 officers who fired those 47 shots at Milton Hall. A boat had to come to his aid. You see, he was there talking on his cell phone. My question is exactly how did he get there? Throughout the morning newscast, we saw several people being very daring and going through those floodwaters. You see there?
You got it.
Live on TV. I messed up. This is love. It's love overflow. The rivalry is so thick out here right now. We have MSU. We have U of M. I can't even hear myself talk. Okay, so everyone has their Alumni Association gear on. They're singing both fight songs at the same time. I can't hear.
Somebody need to help our kids for 30 days.
An emotional plea.
That's all we asking for 30 days.
Parents and students erupted with anger after learning the Buena Vista School District was forced to shut down after running out of money.
As a result of the lack of vision and leadership on the part of the school district, our students and staff are in this crisis.
But the students are caught in the middle. With just 30 days left in the school year, hope is fading as many of them pulled up to an empty parking lot and a dark building.
We have overcome many challenges, just had the thought of graduation at the end, and now it went crashing.
The doors have been locked for about a week now, but how did the district get here? It turns out they continued to receive state funds for months for a program that was no longer in operation. So to address that money snafu, all attention turned here to central office, and the superintendent was in the hot seat.
There's been a monkey wrench thrown in my plan, but I didn't put the monkey wrench there.
That response wasn't good enough for parents.
Everybody in the district right now should take a pay cut, showing that everybody is taking a loss.
The staff volunteered to work for free, but that idea was shot down.
We care. We cried tears today. We thought about every kid in this district that asked us, were we going to be there? We made promises.
Promises the community hope will come to pass soon. In Buena Vista Township, Aisha Howard, WNEM TV 5. Good morning, Craig. We understand there were 4 people inside that home when someone came by and sprayed more than a dozen shots inside, killing an 11-year-old boy. He suffered a gunshot wound to the torso. He was taken to the hospital where we understand he died a couple of hours later. Also injured inside that home, a 66-year-old man was shot in the shoulder. We're told he is expected to survive. There is no word at this hour on what exactly led to that early morning violence. We're showing you new video here overnight as those crime scene investigators combed over the scene with flashlights, looking at all those shell casings that were just surrounding the home and also inside of the home. We're told inside that home was completely ripped apart by that gunfire. Now, there is no word that this was the act of a random drive-by shooting or if someone inside that home was indeed an intended target. So at this hour, we're waiting to talk to investigators a little bit later on. This is fresh video from just about 20 minutes ago once the sun came up, where we spotted about 14 bullet holes inside of that home. And look at that. My photographer got really close up just to show you the devastation those 4 people inside endured when someone came by and opened fire. The very latest right now is that 66-year-old man is expected to survive. That 11-year-old unfortunately did not survive his injuries. Very heartbreaking story this morning. This is the second time this week alone, Craig, we're talking about a child being caught up in the middle of gun violence here in the city of Saginaw. Earlier this week, you all may remember that 4-year-old girl was shot during a shootout. Fortunately, she survived. Definitely a very tragic ending to this story here on Whittier on Saginaw's east side this morning. We're going to continue to follow up with investigators and see if they can release some more details about what they know, and we'll be sure to pass that along starting on TV5 News at noon. For now, we are live and local in Saginaw on the city's east side. Aisha Howard, WNEM TV5. We began this noon highlighting a major event taking place in mid-Michigan. It's attracting thousands of people. We're talking about the Dow Corning Presents Tall Ship Celebration happening today in Bay City. All right, thank you to the both of you. Let's move over now to Winona Park, where TV5's Faith Gantner is there to talk about other big events happening today. Faith, what is the atmosphere like out there right now? In other headlines today, police are investigating a shooting and a bombing at a local home. It happened in Saginaw just before 2 this morning on K Park Drive near Hess Avenue. 3 victims suffered burn injuries and 1 person was shot. Stay with WNEM TV5 as we continue to dig into this crazy story of the morning and see if we can get more information from investigators there. Let's take you outside now with a live look over Saginaw, where it is just a gorgeous, comfortable day out there, perfect to get outside and enjoy the tall ships. Meteorologist Catherine Bodak is celebrating less humidity in the First Warn 5 Weather Center. We're following breaking news out of Sanford, Florida, where manslaughter charges are now being added in the George Zimmerman murder trial. Both sides are expected to deliver closing arguments today. Zimmerman is charged with second-degree murder for fatally shooting 17-year-old Trayvon Martin last year. Zimmerman claims it was in self-defense. Susan McGinnis reports. Okay, so it's true. This intense heat comes around every year at this time, and we find ourselves complaining about it being so dreadfully hot. But what about the people who actually work in the sun? TV5's Brian Wood is checking in on workers with some hot jobs. Hi, Brian. You look pretty glistening today.
And you'll know why in just a sec. My feet are hot right now.
All right, I can't compare. I've got nothing. That's apples and oranges. But your shoes look good, though.
The hot feet.
All right, keep those hot feet cool. Get back in the truck with some AC. Thank you so much, Brian. New at noon, due to the extreme heat this week, some local schools have been forced to cancel their summer classes. TV5's Faith Gantner is standing by in the Continuous News Center with more on those closures. Well, it's a hot day in the Washington, D.C. area as well, and they have a double whammy going on there. Water is running dry for tens of thousands of suburban residents. Crews are making urgent repairs to a failing water line. Daniel Nottingham reports from Fort Washington, Maryland.
It will feel so much better than what we're experiencing now.
I can picture people opening their doors this weekend, creeping out like, is it safe?
I know. Oh, I tell you what, in those dew points, in those humidity levels, they really need to go down by the weekend.
All right. Relief is right around the corner. Thank you, Catherine. Well, if you haven't weighed in on our Top 5 on 5 contest this week, there is still time. We want to know where to find the best muffin in the Tri-Cities in Genesee County. Don't turn the oven on to make them. Go to a restaurant or something. Go to the bakery.